Greetings all and welcome to Daily Pali Reading. Today we are going to take a reading from the second sutta of the Digha Nikaya, the Samaññaphala Sutta, the sutta on the fruits of those who have gone into practicing the spiritual life. We're going to pick this up. This is really the last fruit that the Buddha is discussing. He's addressing King Ajatasattu, and won't say much more about him right now. But here the Buddha is responding to the question, are there visible fruits of those who practice a spiritual life? Bhagava etadavocha, idha maharaja, Tathagato loke upajjati, arahang sama sambuddho, vidya charana sampano, sugato, lokavidu, anuttaro, Purisa Dhamma Sarati, Satta Deva Manusanang, Buddho Bhagava. This is the first part of the Buddha's response that we're tackling today. We will do 2 more episodes on the remainder of his response. Bhagava etad avocha. We've probably come across this before. The Blessed One, Bhagava, etad avocha. Etad avocha is said this. That is literal. We might leave off the etad, this, because this is referring to what is in the quote. So we might just say, the Blessed One said, and then put in our quotation marks. Idha, here, now, in this world. That is an indeclinable, and we have to love those when they appear. Maharaja. This is the vocative, always postpositive, never the first word in the sentence. Great king, O great king. Tathagato. Now, this word is sometimes simply treated as a technical term, and it's left as Tathagato or Tathagata. It is, we can translate the meaning. It has 2 parts here, tata, thus, and gato, gone. And sometimes you will hear that as well, the thus gone, the Tathagata, or the thus gone. Then we have, so this is nominative singular, masculine nominative singular, so this is our subject, finally, of the sentence. We have loke upajjati. We can go to the verb first. Upajjati is to be born or arise. 3rd person singular, present, active. And loke. Loke is the locative of loka or loco, in the world. So we have here, O great king, a thus gone or the thus gone arises in the world. Loke could be world, universe. We have to understand it. It's not simply the planet Earth. It means in this realm of manifestation, maybe in this world of samsara. Now, the remainder of this sentence is a description of the Tathagata, the thus gone. And the nice thing about that is descriptions are always in apposition. That's the technical term, meaning they're going to be in the same case that they're describing. And in our case, they're describing something in the nominative case. So we're going to find a lot of nominative case, nominative singular case words. And that's really nice. It's a good way for us to develop vocabulary, and we don't have to hunt around a whole lot in the dictionary or trying to figure out what form it is. There's some, we have some compounds here, but we will deal with those as they arise. So after we have this little sentence, and this is, by the way, kind of the way a Pali sentence is generally structured, a subject, then objects or indirect or other cases, and then finally a verb. And then on the other side of the verb, we're getting this description. We're getting all these appositives. We're getting all these words in apposition. So the first one we get is arahang. And we've probably all come across this word arahant. It originally means worthy, but is used by Buddhists specifically to refer to those who have attained complete liberation. It comes from arahati, meaning deserving, worthy. And we came across that actually recently in Dhammapada verse 9, I believe, if you want to check that out. One thing about this is we do have to look this up under arahant, an A-N-T ending, even though the nominative singular is arahang, as we find it here. Next, sama sambuddho. Sama we come across a lot in the Eightfold Path. For instance, sama ditti, up to sama sati, sama samadhi. Here probably means perfectly. And the last part of this word, sambuddho, is one who is enlightened. So a perfectly enlightened one. Vidya charana sampano. We can look at sampano first, and that means endowed with or possessed of, comes from the verb sampajati. Now, if this weren't a compound, I believe we would expect instrumental. But because this is a compound, specifically a tapurisa, we don't see the case endings. We just have to understand what might be there. And the way I think that we would take this, and I should say, this is even a little more complicated than, slightly more complicated, and I'll try to put up a bracketed version of this compound. But vidya charana is actually davanda. And then when that joins to sampano, that forms a tapurisa. So the last part, endowed with or possessed of, and then there's these two qualities. They're run together here. Vidya, knowledge, and charana is sort of like right or good conduct. So this Tathagata is possessed of knowledge and right conduct. Maybe we could even say wisdom and right conduct. Sugato. This is actually very similar to Tathagato. Gato, we already know, gone. I didn't mention before, but this is the past participle from gacchati. Su means well. And of course, we come across this a lot, like even in sukha. And its opposite would be du or dur, like dukkha. Sugato, well gone. Probably left untranslated sometimes, but again, we can translate it. Loka vidu. We already talked about loka, the universe. Vidu is one who knows, a knower of. So we might say a knower of the universe, a knower of universes, a knower of worlds. Keep in mind, this is another tapurisa. We don't actually know whether loka is singular or plural. So we kind of have to supply that from context. Now the next word, anuttaro, is a word that means the unsurpassed, without a superior. This is technically a compound. Uttara would mean surpassed. Un is negating it, the opposite of uttara. And it's un because uttara starts with a vowel. If it didn't, we would just expect a by itself. The thing about this is, since we don't know, or I don't know, it's not clear to me whether anuttaro should go with lokavidu or if it should go with the next word or the next description. Let's put it with the next description, but keep in mind, I suppose we could put it with lokavidu as well. The next one is purisa dhammasarati. Now this is a compound of 3 words. We'll take the last part first. Sarati is actually like a coachman or a trainer of horses, but here it's being used metaphorically. And before that, we have purisa dhamma. And purisa is a person. We can actually almost hear that it means person. Purisa means person. could mean people, as we said. Just now, we don't know from the compound whether it's singular or plural, but it's probably people here. And Dhamma, this, and by the way, this is not Dhamma as in Dharma. It's lacking the aspiration. This is Dhamma, in need of restraint or in need of training. So we could say that the Tathagata is the unrivaled trainer of people in need of training. Sutta is a teacher. And this is actually going with the next word. I want to say Sutta. Now, when I first came across this, I don't know why, I just could not locate the word. And that's because the dictionary form of this word is one that it's like mother, mata. It actually ends in an R. So if you look up Sattar, you'll find that this means teacher. If you think that it's somehow, if you think the nominative long A is the dictionary form, you will be led astray, as I was. But Satta means teacher, and Deva Manusanang. Now, this is a compound of, this is a Devanda compound. If we broke it apart, it would be Devanang cha Manusanang cha. The anang is a marker of the genitive plural. So the Tathagata is a teacher of people and gods, or devas, shining ones. Deva, God or shining one. Manusa, person. And here it's in the plural. Buddho, a Buddha, an awakened. We might just leave that as Buddha. And Bhagava, a blessed one.